Yes, we have almost reached the final video of the Coding Aviation Assembly series. We have completely finished assembling our Pixhawk flight control board, motors, electronic speed controllers, and the body. Now, the next steps are the assembly of the telemetry, radio receiver, and propeller. In this episode, we will discuss the important aspects to consider while assembling the telemetry and radio receiver. The most important factor is that both of these devices should be kept as far away as possible from electronic environments and currents, and they should be kept away from conductive surfaces as much as possible. Additionally, since the area where the telemetry will broadcast is the ground surface, we will prefer to position it horizontally rather than vertically. Great, so let's move on to the assembly. Another important point to consider during assembly is to ensure that none of the propeller surfaces hit any electronics. For this reason, we will prefer the bottom surfaces instead of the top surfaces for the assembly. Let's start by mounting our telemetry first. We had already decided on the position where we will mount our telemetry. We will mount it in the area on the front surface of our drone, in the middle part where the ESCs are not located. The area where we will be mounting is roughly here. So let's start our assembly. As I begin, I choose a position that optimizes my field of view as much as possible. Then I place our telemetry in the exact right spot. The desired point is an area like this where our telemetry will be located. Now I will secure the telemetry here with 3M tape. But before that, let's make the connections for our telemetry. I'm connecting the telemetry to the TELEM1 port of the Pixhawk. Then I'm routing the Pixhawk's cable to the desired location. Just like a surgeon removing a bullet from a patient, we directed the telemetry port to the area we will use from the inside. Great. All my cables reached the desired area as planned, and the telemetry port fit perfectly. It doesn't pose any obstruction in the absorbent system either. I'm connecting my telemetry here. While making the telemetry connection, I'll focus on the GND and 5-volt pins. My 5-volt pin is powered by this red wire. The red wire will be connected to the 5-volt pin. Then I mount it in place, and now it's securely positioned. After completing the entire assembly, we can move on to the next step. That's it for our telemetry assembly. There's no way for our telemetry to fall off to the sides anymore. We've taped it very nicely. Next, I'll attach my radio receiver with some 3M tape. While attaching the radio receiver, we made a piece like this, and I'll use this piece. This part has no movement at all because it is printed with a mix of PETG and ABS filament. But this area is a bit more flexible. Since PETG has less flexibility compared to TPU, we chose PETG here. I will mount this part to the front section of the drone like this. Now there's mobility on this rail, but still I didn't quite like it. When I lift my antenna and add it here, it gets more limited movement when I lower the antenna. I will mount my antennas in the slot. Then, as we can feel again, my friend here. Yes, that was our radio receiver and telemetry installation. Now we have our propeller installation video. The most important thing to pay attention to during propeller installation is the correct attachment of flanges and screws and the direction of the propeller. For example, this is a propeller that rotates clockwise. If you install this propeller this way and apply a counterclockwise rotation. Unfortunately, if your propeller is supposed to provide upward thrust under normal conditions, your reverse configuration will cause it to provide downward thrust. If you use it this way, unfortunately you will crash. It's important to adhere to the principles of flight. All right then, we will mount the propeller this way. Yes, we are placing this clockwise propeller onto our clockwise motor. We place the clockwise propeller on the motor across from it. And the pitch section, meaning the angle of attack, is here and the trailing edge is here. So this propeller rotates counterclockwise. As we can see, this motor also rotates counterclockwise, so there's no problem. Next, we place the flange on top of our propeller. An important point to pay attention to when placing this part is the screw holes. Look, there are countersinks here. The screw is placed directly on top of this countersink. Another point in propeller assembly is that the screws should be tightened appropriately. We tighten the screws collectively and properly. We can apply approximately 5 to 6 Newton meters of torque. That's it. We will mount each propeller this way. After mounting, I check the vibration with my hand. There's a bit, so it needs to be tightened a little more. Yes, it's good now. That's it for our propeller installation. After applying the same process to all the other propellers, our drone will be ready to fly. That's it for our installation process. Thank you for listening. Our next tutorial will be about how to program a drone. Thank you for listening.